Hello folks, today is Friday, October 25th, 2024. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. There's a lot of stuff to discuss, a lot of new announcements. The first thing involves the next Elder Scrolls 6. Not necessarily a complete news bit, but something interesting I figured you guys would want to hear. So this comes from videogamer.com, who once again spoke with veteran game designer and veteran Bethesda designer Bruce Nesmith. Now, we've talked about his quotes about a week or so ago, but there's some more interesting stuff to dive into here, specifically around the Elder Scrolls versus something like Baldur's Gate 3, and specifically whether or not the massive success, like industry-wide success of Baldur's Gate 3 will have any influence on Elder Scrolls 6. Now, Nesmith here, his insight is really interesting because he's with Bethesda for so long. He was lead designer on Skyrim. He left in, I believe, 2021 from Bethesda, but he's essentially had a big hands on all of their games as an RPG designer, like hardcore Dungeons and Dragons style guy. And he stated that he doesn't see Elder Scrolls 6 going towards detailed character sheets again. You know, with the whole thing of Baldur's Gate 3 having such incredibly in-depth character builds, classes, stats, details, stuff like that, or aka a character sheet. By his estimation, even though he's not directly working on the game as far as we know, he suggests that Elder Scrolls 6 isn't going to essentially go backwards, bring back those things, those character sheets, those details, those numbers we've seen in things like, Morrowind or Oblivion to some extent. No, with Elder Scrolls Skyrim, you notice that a lot of that stuff was working in the background. They tried to really kind of pare things down. And Nesmith goes on in this to talk about how Bethesda has tried to pare back the UI elements and the details and stuff so that players can just focus on the world and what they're doing. And he suggests that they're probably going to continue pushing in that direction and not having, and I quote, fiddly character sheets. By his estimation, Elder Scrolls at this point isn't totally representing or trying to recreate the tabletop experience like they did with Daggerfall and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good bet, a pretty good educated guess on his part. The discussion, the interview is really interesting. If you do want to check it out, it's linked in the description down below. At this point, I don't think we're hearing anything about Elder Scrolls 6 anytime soon. Bethesda did give us a little bit of news this week with like a whole Fallout Day presentation, but it was really just a couple of updates on Fallout 76. So for now, it seems like that's really it with Bethesda. We did talk like last week or so about the Shattered Space Starfield expansion and stuff like that. So now I guess at this point, they're back in the trenches just working on stuff. The other thing I wanted to talk about this week, an interesting bit of news, is the fact that Ubisoft has disbanded the team that made Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. In my opinion, like one of Ubisoft's only recent games that are really, really good. I like Lost Crown a ton. It might end up on my Game of the Year list. So you have Ubisoft that finally made something different and something that, in my opinion, was good. And for them, it seems like it, quote unquote, again, didn't meet expectations. They probably had astronomical sales projections for this kind of smaller style game. And now, unfortunately, they're not moving forward with it. We had the one DLC. That's it. They said there's no sequel or anything like that. And that's a bummer. At the very least, it seems like not everybody got laid off here. It seems like they all got moved to different projects, with one report suggesting that some people were moved on over to Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is the other thing I did want to talk about this week, is that we know that Beyond Good and Evil 2, which has been in development for like a decade, is right? Am I going crazy? Is that Beyond Good and Evil 2? I always do this. Beyond Good and Evil 2 was announced in 2008. So yeah, it's been in development for a really long time. It's been through creative directors. Michel Ancel, the legendary guy behind stuff like Rayman, who was on this, did leave. Then unfortunately, the director last year passed away. So now Ubisoft has come out announcing the new director on the project, which is, essentially a confirmation that the game is still very much in the works. The director is Fawzi Mesmar, who is like a veteran of the studio. He's worked on a lot of projects. He's already kind of been working on Beyond Good and Evil 2 in some capacity. So this is cool. This is great. Does this mean this game is ever going to come out? I don't know. Maybe it's just a money laundering thing at this point. Who knows? But Ubisoft did work on Skull and Bones for a billion years and release that. So They've done it once. They can probably do it again with this. I just hope that this one turns out to really be worth the wait, because from everything they've talked about it from the beginning, it was incredibly ambitious. Next up, I do want to talk about some games that released this week. The first is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Of course, if you got enough hard drive space for this sucker, the responses to multiplayer seem pretty good so far. Our guy Eric has been playing it. He's been telling me it's pretty decent. We're going to have a review that combines like my thoughts on the campaign and some of his writing on the multiplayer, so check that this weekend. Campaign so far, actually pretty good. I like a Call of Duty casual campaign. I'm not like a hardcore Call of Duty guy by any means, but yeah, keep your eyes peeled for the full before you buy. Also, it released this week. I don't know if we're going to have time to get to it, but Sonic and Shadow Generations. I did get to check this out a couple months back, like a preview version, and it's pretty cool. There's some Shadow stuff. It's not like a massive amount, but it still is worth checking out, especially just because, in my opinion, like I thought Sonic Generations was a good game. So to have kind of like a remastered, re-released version of it with Shadow content, I think that's a win. And so far, it seems like people are digging it. Also, I did a before you buy it review for Batman Arkham Shadow. This is the, unfortunately, MetaQuest 3 3S exclusive VR game that, you know, exclusivity aside, they did like a really good job here. It's like a sequel to Batman Arkham Origins, so it's got that feel to it, but it is all of the Batman Arkham gameplay translated to VR, and it's actually just fun as hell. Remember the word fun? Fun factor? It's what we talk about here. That's important. I hope it comes to more platforms at some point because I like it that much. It's got a good story. It adds stuff to the Arkham lore. So yeah. Hey, now next up, before we keep going, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money. Now, if you're like me, there's a good chance maybe you're really unorganized, you're a complete mess, or maybe you have your act together. Either way, there's a good chance you're subscribed to lots of stuff, and you can tend to lose track. Maybe it's a streaming service, maybe it's something smaller like online storage. Either way, sometimes maybe you could be doing your budget or looking at your bank account and go, man, what just hit my account? That's annoying, and thankfully Rocket Money can help out with that. It's an all-in-one finance platform that helps you save more and spend less. Personally, I've been using Rocket Money for years now, and one of the biggest features is its subscription stuff. Not only does it show it all for you, itemized and organized on the app, but it also lets you go in and cancel subscriptions with just a few taps. You don't have to talk to anyone or anything like that, so I love it personally. Rocket Money has a ton of features. Like I said, all-in-one finance platform. You can monitor your credit, but there's also some great budgeting tools that lets you set custom budgets, but then also set notifications so that you don't go over your limits. It's really good stuff. Maybe you need a lot of help with your finances, or maybe you need a little bit. It's a good way to just fine-tune some things. Believe it or not, Rocket Money has helped its customers save up to $740 a year when using all the features. So to save more and spend less, join the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. Just head to rocketmoney.com/gameranx on screen here, or click the link in the description down below to get started for free and then access even more features with premium. Again, that's rocketmoney.com/gameranx to get started for free. Check it out, and big thanks to Rocket Money for sponsoring our videos. Also released this week, the Alan Wake 2 Lake House DLC. They released some gameplay trailers and stuff for it. I haven't jumped into this yet as an Alan Wake enjoyer, but I'm looking forward to it. Also, the fact that they released the physical version of the game, finally. So if you've been waiting, I talked to a lot of people who were holding out for a physical version of it. Now your prayers have been answered, and thankfully that physical edition does have all the DLC. Oh, and in case you missed it, Spider-Man 2 is coming to PC January 30th. I'm very excited about this. I liked Spider-Man 2. I did not love it as much as the first one, but still, I want it on PC with a bunch of graphics mods and weird mods, so let's go. I'm always just pro insano weird mods. Interesting to note, though, what also came around this time is that Insomniac is not doing DLC story stuff for this game. I'm kind of okay with that. I know some people were disappointed, but frankly, I played through all the story DLC for the Spider-Man 2018 game, and I didn't really love all of it. So whatever, at this point, I'm just excited to see what else they're cooking up next. We kind of know what they're cooking up next, but still. But what is cool this week is that we also got a ton of like gameplay trailers and stuff like that. The first is a pretty big one, a lengthy one for Squadron 42. This is like the third-person cinematic action adventure or space combat game from the Star Citizen people. like Star Citizen itself, they've been working on this game forever. It seems like they've had an insane budget. It's got a bunch of like celebrities in it. It's got like some actual really good actors in it. Some actors that I've wanted to see in sci-fi for quite some time, or at least return to sci-fi. It looks like it's shaping up to be pretty good, and it seems like they're confident that we're actually going to be playing it eventually. So yeah, if you want to check out the whole pretty in-depth thing, I've linked that below. Also, I am so happy for this. I wish it was releasing like right now for Halloween time, but the Thing video game. We've talked about Night Dive Studios doing a remaster for it, but now we've got a gameplay trailer highlighting a little bit more of it, and the game looks really damn good. It's still going to show its age just by design. It is what it is, but this was an incredible game back in the day. When movie tie-in games were a mess, this was pretty cool. It takes place after the Thing, and it actually does a pretty good job. It takes those concepts and puts them in a game in really interesting ways. So I'm excited to finally check this out. We just know it's coming soon, and they did highlight that it's going to have like dynamic lighting, 4K resolution, 144 frames per second, new models, textures, all that stuff. Also, check out this indie game that my friend sent me. Like, he just texted this to me. It's called Thronefall. This is a really fun kind of strategic builder defense game with like a very minimalist style. They just put out a trailer for like their full final release of the game. It's out now if you do want to check it out. I did grab it. I want to dive into this just because I really love the art style, but yeah, I just figured I'd put this on your radar. Some of you guys out there might be into this type of thing. Also, No Man's Sky just keeps going, man. Once again, there is now No Man's Sky, The Cursed Expedition. If you're looking for a little bit more to play through in this massively updated game, here you go. Also, Monster Hunter Wilds got another trailer. This is like their 5th trailer. This one highlighting a little bit of the darker side of the world and stories and monsters. Also, I haven't talked about this one enough on the channel, but Metal Slug Tactics got a final like release date trailer. This just looks like a really good, fun spin on the Metal Slug formula. This is releasing November 5th. So November, there you go. You can go vote, and then you can go buy yourself a Metal Slug video game and have a arguably nicer time. Also, I missed mentioning this last week, but I am really looking forward to this game. So this is Expedition 33. It got a big new trailer detailing the full cast, which has Andy Serkis, Charlie Cox, our Daredevil, also Ben Starr from Final Fantasy 16. This game just seems really cool. I hope it's good. The developers also did come out already, and we're starting to talk about length. They said they're projecting something like over 30 hours, like 30 plus hours. So fingers crossed that this thing really meets the potential and really meets the kind of uniqueness that it feels like when you first see it. I know when I saw the game behind the scenes, I was really into it, but yeah, it's still in the works. There's no release date yet. Also, I did want to share this with you guys. Bloober did an interview with GameSpot talking about their next game, of course, that they just announced at that Xbox partner preview last week. It's called Chronos: The New Dawn. It's like a third-person sci-fi horror thing. They did get a couple of new details about that in the interview if you do want to check it out. But the developers at Bloober and the leads here did go on record about just how they've been trying to redeem themselves. They said that they knew they were aware of people being a little skeptical of the whole Silent Hill 2 thing, and they said, and I quote in this interview, "Okay, we made some shitty games before, but we can evolve." That's how they approached Silent Hill 2, and now that's how they're looking at Chronos as well. Okay, so technically it was like 2 teams. So some folks were working on Silent Hill 2, other people were working on this Chronos game, but they've kind of had the mindset of a redemption arc. So, you know, I hope it works out for them, because I really liked Silent Hill 2, and, you know, more games that are actually good, the better. I just like a studio lead actually acknowledging and saying, and I quote, "We made some shitty games before, but we can evolve." You like to see that level of honesty, right? Anyway, let's talk about everything going on this week. That's all the news I had time to cover. I got to jump on and keep working on some before you buy videos. But let me know what you think about Bloober Team, of course, but also all the announcements from this week. Squadron 42, the fact that Spider-Man 2 is not going to have any story DLC. Are you upset? Do you not really care? What do you think about that discussion about Elder Scrolls 6 we started with, and, you know, what that previous veteran designer thinks they're going to do for character building moving forward? Let's talk about any of the news this week. I definitely want to hear from you guys. We'll be down in the comments as much as possible, but things get a little crazy. So if you want to find me directly on Instagram, social media, whatever, at Jake Baldino. Also, every Wednesday on my channel, Jake Baldino, linked down there. Every Wednesday, I do a news show there where I just talk about 2 topics that I find really interesting. I do a little bit more deep dive discussion. So if you want more of me yapping, there you go. But thank you for coming around every week. We've very much appreciate it. We never miss. We're always here, just getting you caught up real quick. So now all I ask is that you subscribe, because we put out videos every single day. But catch me here on the Before You Buy, stuff like that. I'm Jake Baldino. Have a great weekend. Pizza's on me. You like the way I did that? You thought I wasn't going to say it. Gotcha. Anyway.